everyone, my name's Karen and I'm a graduate mechanical engineer at BOC and I'm here to talk about my career today. I first decided that I wanted to go into engineering near the end of secondary school when I was looking at what colleges to apply to and what unis to apply to after that. Because I liked mathematics and I was good at it, but I didn't want to do a desk job, I wanted to do something with a little more practicality to it, I started researching engineering. Now, when looking at colleges, most of them only required a maths and a physics passing grade or a high grade to study mathematics and physics at A-level. As those are already base GCSEs that we don't get to choose, my chosen GCSEs were French, history and art, so not really related, but still interesting. Then, when I completed my GCSEs, I got into my A-levels. So alongside mathematics and physics, I decided to also study further mathematics and computing because they interested me. You don't need all of these qualifications to get into uni, you only need maths and physics, and it is a lot of work to do 4 A-levels instead of 3. So I would recommend 3 if you're indecisive about it. So I studied these at college and I found it really interesting. And throughout college, we were given help to write our applications for universities, and I applied to several in my area, including Portsmouth University, who accepted my application for a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. When I started at Portsmouth University, I did well enough in my first year that they offered me to transfer over to a mechanical engineering master's degree. Now, if you don't know, the difference between masters and bachelor's is that bachelor's is a 3-year degree and master's is a 4-year degree. It's just a slightly extra level of qualifications that you can come out of uni with. So I agreed to this and I transferred onto the integrated master's degree. Again, if you don't know, integrated basically means that I did it as a whole section of 4 years instead of doing a separate 3 years bachelor's and then an extra year master's on top. The only difference is you get 1 certificate instead of 2 with an integrated degree. So I continued to study engineering at university, which I found really interesting, and I really enjoyed Portsmouth University. And then I graduated last year with a first-class Masters of Mechanical Engineering degree. Now, I started applying for my graduate schemes near the start of my 4th year because I wanted to get in there early because I knew a lot of schemes opened early, especially the more interesting ones. So I was more interested in a graduate scheme than a normal job because a job takes you straight into industry learning, whereas a graduate scheme gives you a little more support transferring from classroom learning to industry learning. So they give you a bit more training, they give you a bit more help to get to that point where you can work in industry sort of unsupported as such. So I decided that my top choice out of the several I applied to was the BOC graduate scheme. For those of you who don't know, BOC stands for British Oxygen Company. They're one of the biggest gas providers in the UK and they provide lots of different gases for lots of applications. For example, oxygen for hospitals or CO2 to make fizzy drinks at pubs, that kind of thing. There's a lot that they do and they're a really good company. So the reason I like the look of their scheme is because it's 4 years long, and within that 4 years, you get to do a 1-year placement and then change location each year to learn about a different sector of engineering. And I think that's really important because you get to see all the different aspects of both engineering and a company, and you can become the most well-rounded engineer that you can be. So that really appealed to me, and I went through the interview process, the assessment centre, and they gave me an offer. So I started in September 2022, so I'm currently still in my first year, and we begin in discipline at the moment. So for me, that is mechanical engineering, and I'm finding it really interesting. So what we do is we follow around other members of the mechanical team and we get to see what they do within the company and all the processes that need engineering, which is really interesting because we get to look at a lot of different sites, a lot of different machines, we get to go and see what we're actually working on, we get to visit all the different sites. It's really interesting to look at, and I think it's an excellent opportunity to get an understanding of what a company involves and how engineering works in the industry. So I'm currently really enjoying that, and then next year I will be located on a site, which means I'll get even more involvement on a particular site and get to look at all the different machines and processes that are involved in that site. So this is really good, not just for the experience and to become a well-rounded engineer, but the goal at the end of it is to build you out to a chartered engineer, which is the next level of qualifications you can reach after a master's degree. So that is the goal after 4 years, but it can take longer depending how much experience you get. Now, another reason that I really like this chartership goal and this graduate scheme is that we are given a lot of support from other people in the company. So everyone on your team is really supportive, but you're also assigned a mentor and a buddy within the company. A mentor is a person that helps you lead up to chartership. They help you spot the gaps in your skill sets and where you could possibly fill them in and what projects you can be involved in. And a buddy is someone also on the graduate scheme that's there for any silly questions, anything you're not sure of, you can't find, you need a little bit of help with, they're there to help you. So I'm really currently enjoying this, and I think university and graduate schemes are a really good way to go. But obviously it's entirely up to what you prefer, and if you prefer an apprenticeship, that's also a good way to get into engineering. My company in particular does both graduate roles and apprenticeship roles, so there are different routes into engineering, but you can still end up learning as much as you physically can within the industry. Another thing that I did during university that helped me get to this point is I did a summer placement. Now, unfortunately, at the time, there weren't many placements about due to the pandemic, but we luckily managed to find some that were still available, and I went on a summer one, which was 3 months working at Norma, which is a piping connecting company, and I got to look at lots of different aspects of this small company and what was involved in their day-to-day process, which I think was really interesting and is a real bonus on your CV. So that's my career journey from school up to my graduate scheme now, and in the future I only hope that I can do better and become even more qualified and a better engineer for it. Thank you.